What's going on, guys? Welcome back. My name is Dustin, and last time what we did is we gave our little player some animations so that he can walk around in our world. We also set up those animations so that they would change depending on which direction we're moving. Uh, the issue that I want to fix now is one, our player is constantly walking. It's stuck in this walk animation. And then another thing I want to fix as well is whenever we go to a different direction, he automatically faces downward no matter which way we're moving. So I want to fix those two things today. So, and the way we're going to do that, first I want to create some new animations. If we click our player and open up our animation window, we're going to go and create a few new clips. We're going to call this idle down. I'm going to make another one called idle up, and another one idle left, and one more idle right. We're actually going to make four more for these down left, down right, up left, and up right as well. So idle down left, idle down right, idle up left, and idle up right. I spelled that wrong, so I'm going to fix this like that. There we go. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to start with idle down. If we go into our art folder, top down character, and character, I'm going to open up some of these just to kind of make it a little bit easier on us. So we're going to be using all of these walking animations. We're not going to be using any of these roll or slash at the moment. And then our up animations, just like that. So now all I want to do is drag in for idle down the first image from that animation, and we're not going to do anything on the timeline because it's just going to be one single still image. So now we can just go to our next animation, down left, and pop in that picture, down right, close that, pop that guy in, idle left, drag in that one, idle right, just like that, and then idle up. I'm gonna skip all through these, idle up, idle up left, oh, don't want to create a new animation, and idle up right, just like that. So now that we have all of those idle animations in place, let's go to our animator, and now we have all of these idle animations in our animator, and we're not going to use any of these like this the way they are. We're going to create another new blend tree for our idle animations. So I'm just going to go ahead and right click create state from new blend tree. So if we go ahead and click that, I'm going to rename this to player underscore idle, and we open this up, we can set this to 2D simple directional again, And this time, we're not going to use these move X and move Y parameters like we did in our movement or in our walk animations. We're going to create two new parameters. So, because what I want to do is I want to set it up so that when we move our player, if we're moving to the right, I want him to stop when he's idling facing the right direction. Same with up, left, and down. So I want to know what his last move was. So I'm going to create two more floats here. And we're going to call these last move X and last move Y. And those are the two parameters that we're going to use for our idle blend tree. So now if we go ahead and add a motion field, we're actually going to add 8 of them again. Like this. And did I count that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just like that. We can click these little circles and just click our animations. We're going to use idle down, use idle left, we're going to use idle right, and idle up. And then our diagonal directions, we're going to use down and left, down and right, up and left, up and right. Just like that. So now let's go ahead and set the position for the X and Y axis on these. So when we're idling down, I'm going to drag this out so I can see everything easier. So idle down, we're going to be at 0 and minus 0.1. Oh, that's minus 0.2, minus 0.1. For idle left, we're going to use minus 0.1 and 0. And for idle right, we're going to use 0.1 and 0. And idle up, we're going to use 0 and 0.1. So now for the diagonal directions, we're going to use down and left is going to be minus 0.1 and minus 0.1. Down and right, we're going to use 0.1 and minus 0.1. Up and left, we're going to use minus 0.1 and 0.1. And then up and right, we're going to say 0.1 and 0.1. Just like that. So, now that we have all of that in place, what I want to do now, if I drag this out a little bit so we can see our animator a little bit better, we can go to our base layer, and I want to set this idle to our default state, because what's going to happen is when the game starts, our player will automatically already be in the walking animation, and I don't want that. I want him to be in our idle animation. So I'm going to just right click on our player idle blend tree and click set as layer default state, just like that. So now we need to create some transitions here so that our animator knows where to go with our animations. So I'm going to create, if I right click on player idle and click make transition, I can drag this little arrow to our player move and click. And if I click that little white arrow, it'll bring up this section over here in the inspector. So a couple of things that I want to do before I start actually adding in our conditions is I don't want it to have an exit time. I want to open up our settings. I don't want a fixed duration. And I want to set transition duration to 0. Just like that. Now, these settings, they're generally used in 3D games. It's not something that we're going to be using in this 2D game, so it's just better to turn them all off. Otherwise, we're gonna have some weird things happening with our transitions. So now we can just go down to our conditions, add a new condition, and we're gonna say if move x is greater than 0.1, meaning if we are moving in the right direction, we want it to change to the move animation blend tree. We're going to right click on player idle. We're going to make another transition to our move blend tree, and you'll notice it'll add 3 little arrows here. That just means that there's multiple transitions there. We can click on this again. We're going to get rid of exit time. We're going to get rid of fixed duration and set transition duration to 0. And Unity automatically defaults all of those on like that every time you make a new transition. So we got to make sure that we set all of those to this every time we make a new transition. We're going to add a new condition, and we're going to say if move x is less than negative 0.1, we're going to create another transition. No exit time, no fixed duration, and no transition duration. And new condition, if move y is greater than 0.1, and then one more transition to our move blend tree, and turn off exit time, turn off fixed duration, transition duration to 0, and a new condition. We're going to say if move y is less than negative 0.1, just like that. So now, basically what we're saying is if we go ahead and hit play right now, our player is automatically in his idle position. If we move, he's walking. But now he's stuck in this walk animation because we didn't set any conditions for when we are no longer moving. So he has no way of going back to this idle state. So exit play mode, and we're gonna make a transition from our move blend tree to our idle blend tree, and we just need one transition for this one, just basically saying that we are no longer moving. So if we click that, turn off exit time, open up the settings, turn off fixed duration, transition duration set to 0, and we're going to have 4 conditions here, like that. And we're going to say if move x is greater than minus 0.1, and if move x is less than 0.1, saying that if our move x position is in between negative 0.1 and 0.1, basically 0, and if our move y is greater than negative 0.1, and our move move y is less than 0.1, he should switch back into our idle position. So if we go ahead and hit play, and we go ahead and move, perfect. He switches from the move to our idle when we're no longer pressing a button. Just like that. So now that that's working for us, I want to make it so that when we're moving to the left and we stop, he continues to face in the left direction. Same with the right, up and down, because as of right now, he keeps automatically defaulting to the facing downward direction. And the way we're going to fix that is in our player controller script. So if we go to our scripts, open up our player controller script, in the update function underneath where we're setting our floats for our animations, we're going to say if let's see, if input dot get axis raw horizontal is equal to 1, then what we want to do is say my anim dot set float, and the float we want to set is last move x. And what do we want to set it to? We want to set it to whatever our input is set to. So we're going to say input, we need a comma here. So we're going to say input dot get axis raw horizontal. Just like that. So now what that's doing is if we are pressing right on our horizontal axis and it's set to 1, then we will set our last move float to that 1. But we also want to do this for if we're pressing left, we want to do this for if we're pressing up, and if we're pressing down. So if we go into our if statement, and so if input.getAxisRaw horizontal is equal to 1, or you can hold shift and put these two straight lines that mean or. It just gives us multiple conditions for our if statement. So or if input, not indexer, input dot get axis raw horizontal is equal to -1, or if input dot get axis raw vertical is equal to 1, or if input dot get axis raw vertical, if I can spell correctly, is equal to -1. We are going to set the float here. But we also want to do this for our vertical axis here. So I'm just going to copy all of that, go right below it, and paste it in. I'm going to change horizontal to vertical. And last move Y. Just like that. So now if we go ahead and save this, go back into Unity, let it compile, and we can hit play. And now our player, it no longer defaults to that down position. I feel like it's taking a second to switch the animations. So I just want to go back in here and make sure we set all of these correctly. Thought we did. Huh. Maybe that's just me. Alright, so yeah, everything is set. And then if we go into our diagonal positions as well, it will store those positions, and we will stop in a diagonal position, just like that. So that's all we're going to be doing for today. If you're enjoying the series, please be sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know if you have a better way of doing things, if you want to see something added into this series. Still kind of open to how I'm going to make this. But yeah, I will be trying to release a video every day, if not more. So be sure to stay tuned, and I will see you next time.